Hi. I am about 2 minutes late. I was registering for a crafty retreat with my friend Jennifer from One Crafty Sister. And she does about 3 or 4 of these retreats a year. I think it's 3 retreats per year. And of course, I can only go in June. Um, so I have to wait until she opens it up for her general customers in order to sign up. And of course, I've been sitting here waiting, chomping at the bit because it's really nice to get away and craft with other like minded individuals who um, really enjoy paper and ink or other creative mediums. I know one of the ladies brings her sewing machine sometimes. And if I wasn't driving so far, I probably would drag my sewing machines with me. So, anyway, I do believe I'm all signed up, and now I can freely share with you some amazing tips for creating nice, crisp images. So, I created a little bit of a presentation. This has actually been in the works since before spring break. And then, of course, as you all know, spring break kind of took over my life. So let's get back on track. I'm trying really hard to do that. So let's get started. All right. So, tips and tricks for stamping clean images. So, the first thing we want to do is make sure we are using high quality stamps, ink, and materials. Yes, I do recommend that you invest in high quality stamps that are made of clear photopolymer or rubber material because they are designed to give you a crisp, clear image. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and I'm going to come over here and share with you the the two styles that I was just mentioning. So I have the Biggest Wish, which is a big birthday set. It is currently $17. This is a clear photopolymer stamp. You can see through this. You can see some of the inks will stain them. It does not affect how they stamp. So again, this is one style. This is the clear photopolymer. Let's go ahead and switch over to the other style, which is a rubber. This is the Amazing Silhouettes stamp set. It is currently clearanced for $8.80 in the Last Chance part of our website. And I want to go ahead and share with you how to put this together. So we're going to put one of these together. This is one of the parts. It's the butterfly right here. And so I have this rubber. It's got a little bit of a foam inside. Let's see if you can see that. And then a paper backing here. I'm going to peel this paper backing off. Since it aligns with this butterfly here, I'm going to peel off. There's going to be this top layer that is separated. That's eventually going to be what sticks here. And then there is the middle layer, which is a cling material. And then there's the base here, like a sticker bottom. So I'm pulling up the backing and that cling image. This cling image here is the side that you would use on a platform or a block. And then I'm just going to pick a part where this is separated. And I'm going to be careful not to put fingerprints and smudges all over this part because this is what I want to adhere to the back of this stamp. So I'm just looking at the image so that I can line it up correctly. And I'm going to put this right over. And again, my clear acrylic block allows me to see the edges of that cling and the edges of my stamp itself. And then to pull this off, it is going to be nice and sticky. especially when we first get them. And that is how you assemble them. And then you're just going to put them back into your container. And I actually pulled out a second one to share what it looks like after you have assembled all of them. So I just stick them on the inside of the case that they come with. You can see they hold tight in there. When I'm ready to use it, I just peel that off, stick it to my block, and then I can stamp with that. Okay, so again, investing in high quality photopolymer or rubber stamps. This was the artistically inked and it is $24 right now. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide. Oops, there we go. So you want to basically have the right materials for any project, of course. So you will utilize quality ink along with those quality stamps. We want to make sure our stamp is clean and free of debris. And we want to use even pressure and steady hand when stamping. So let's go ahead and talk about inks. You want to choose the right ink pad. Dye ink is for porous surfaces and pigment ink for non-porous surfaces. You want to test any before you use them and store them properly to extend their life. And of course, I have an image here of our classic stamping pads. They store the ink upside down, so it's always at the top of the foam. But I also have a couple of others to show you. So I brought out those in colors because they're fun right now. This is that Moody Mauve. And basically when you open this up, I tell everybody, open it like a compact. It's going to be tight because it's brand new. So, and then you slide this back. So all the ink is resting at the top of this foam pad. See if you can see. It's not too deep or anything. This is our water-based dye ink. And then we do have two other kinds of ink. We have something called Memento. This is for, I mark it for blends. It is a nice black color. And it stamps really great outline images. And then we have what's called StazOn, which is a permanent or I'm losing my words. So this one you can use on non-porous surfaces. So if you wanted to stamp on a glass or a sheet of plastic, like a window sheet, you would use this StazOn, okay? So those are the three types of ink that we have. In addition to the ink that you can use on stamps, these can all be used with the rubber or the clear polymer stamps. You can also use our Stampin' Write markers to color on stamps. And if I don't break my fingers trying to get this open, here we go. I'm going to share with you what these markers look like so you can see. So our markers have a side with a thin line and then a side that has a thicker line. And that indicates which size tip you're going to use. So this is the thin tip, which is kind of like a felt tip pen. This is the thick side, which is more like a watercolor brush. These are water-based inks, just like our ink pads. So if I wanted to, I could actually use my markers and I could color on my stamps and create a stamped image. So I'm going to go ahead and share this particular ink with this rubber stamp. I have 3 different flowers. I'm going to color them with 3 different colors so that you can see. So I'm using Moody Mauve on the largest one. Okay. I'm going to use, I forget some of the names so far, Wild Wheat on the middle-sized one. And then I'm going to use the Boho Blue on this baby flower right here. And because they have dried a little bit, I'm going to use the moisture from my breath, and I'm going to breathe lightly on the stamp just to re-moisten those colors because they are water-based. And I might have licked it. Just kidding. So you can see that I can stamp images with those marker colors. Okay. That becomes a lot of fun if you are using a much larger image, or if you wanted to color different parts of your stamp, different colors. So if I wanted to do hello, and I wanted to do it in 2 different colors, I could use my markers a little bit easier than I could a stamp pad, because I can really see where my colors are. So I'm going to color like the bottom half of my hello with the yellow color. What is this thing called? Wild Wheat. Why can I not remember that color yet? All right, so the bottom half is Wild Wheat. I'm going to have to like make myself some study cards with these new names. And then I am going to use this copper clay at the other part. Oh, that's the bottom. All right, so I am simply coloring the rest of this stamp with this marker here, making sure that I have gotten it, and hopefully I will not have any gaps in the coloring. Okay. Just to make sure. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp that here. And you can see again how those markers really come to play. All right. So those are the inks and the 2 different kinds of stamp materials that are available. Let's move on to preparing your stamps. Basically, you want to clean your stamps the first time you get them, especially the clear photopolymer. It's really nice to kind of give them a little, just a wipe down in between usage. And then again, when you first get it, you just kind of want to take a baby wipe or any of these cleaning tools to go ahead and clean off any film that might be on there. It really helps give a nice crisp stamp later. So let's talk about these cleaning products. So we have 2 different kinds of scrubbers. This is called a chamois, and this one is actually cut in half. And they will get nice and ugly. They still clean. You can rinse these off, wash them, and they will still work. In between uses, they will dry out and they will become kind of hard. You just soak them in some water before you're ready to use it, and it's good to go. The other thing we have is called a Stampin' Scrub, and it has 2 fuzzy sides here. I love this, especially for some of the fine cracks and crevices in our stamps. We have a Stampin' Mist, which is just a little cleaning spray. And I use one side of my mat is always the wet side. For me, I wrote my name on the cover. That's the side that's always going to have the Stampin' Mist on it. That allows me to do a wet scrub. And then I can use the other side to dry off that stamp. Once I pull the stamp off, I can actually use it to finish cleaning my block itself. Okay. I'll go ahead and put this aside. All right. Now we also have something to clean off that StazOn, that pigment that will always be there, even if I stamp on glass or plastic or fabric or whatever. So the StazOn, you have to have the StazOn cleaner. And this is a liquid on the inside, and it's got a foam applicator, and you would just dab that on the stamp that you have the stays on, and then rub that off simply with a cloth. And I'm not sure where my cloth disappeared to at the moment, but it's pretty ugly right now because it does have permanent ink on it. I always recommend that you either wear an apron or you've got some clothes that don't matter, because there will be accidents that happen. And yes, I have ruined some of my favorite shirts because when I come home and I change and I put on, my favorite Life is Good, really, really super soft t-shirt, that's when I'll make a mess. So I recommend not wearing your most favorite clothes or your work clothes when you are doing that. All right, let's keep going. So you will use an acrylic block or a stamping platform for even pressure. Again, clean your stamp before and after each use. Experiment with different inks and papers to find what you like as your best combination. Different techniques will use different combinations. We sell watercolor paper, which is a very different technique than just a plain stamp on your card base. So lots of different techniques, smooth papers versus using it on an embossed piece of paper or background. Okay. Of course, practice makes perfect. So one of my favorite ways to practice, of course, is not by myself. So the more you use your products, even if it is by yourself, the more you're going to learn about how you stamp versus how each stamp is a little bit different. So again, I'm going to share this particular set is called Artistic Dies. And you can simply look at this cover to learn that. Oh, let me turn this piece off so you can see that. So you can see that this is not, except for the words, these are not going to be super sharp line images, but my words are. So I want to make sure when I'm stamping that I have nice, firm, even pressure, whether that is with a block or a stamping platform. Let's see. And then again, register for classes. They can be online classes. Anything that gets you using your products is going to be helpful to you to really learn how you enjoy using those products. You might twist them and turn them, or you might like them a little more moist than another. You might like the markers. You might like the watercolor paper, or you might like spritzing it, or any world of things. And you won't know until you're actually getting your hands dirty with them. So join a class, follow people on YouTube. Stick with me. You can subscribe. I like to do Wednesday night crazy stuff just like this. And just use your products. Troubleshooting. Again, make sure you are cleaning those stamps in between use. You want to make sure you have fresh ink pads or have refilled them in the recent past. Dry ink pads are going to be very, very pale in color. They're not going to give you nice, crisp images. You do want to make sure you are not pushing down too hard in your ink. Occasionally, I will get ink on the edges of my blocks. That happens for two reasons. One, I've either pushed down too hard accidentally, or I've rocked it. Or two, I've used a stamp that is way too small for the block. You want to size your block as close to the size of your stamp as possible. That's really going to help you avoid extra, what we call halos. And that is when the outer edge of the rubber also has ink on it and you've pushed too hard or you've rocked it one way or another, then you get extra ink. One way to get rid of that is to buy what's called a sand eraser. And I don't have one of those to share right now, but they will lightly buff the top layer of the paper off, essentially, with any little oops that you might have. So again, I hope that this was informative. Of course, we sell all of the products that I've shared tonight. And if you wanted to shop with me, now's your chance because we have a catalog that is going through the end of the month. We have that last chance sale and the clearance sale going on. Um, any orders of $35 or more will get a free little thank you gift from me. And of course, when you hit 50, you'll get an extra thank you gift. So I love to stamp with others. I would love for you to join any of my classes. If you have found me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook, and I have links to all of my classes there. Or you can also go to Equally Creative by Nicole.com, and that will get you to my websites as well. So you'll be able to register for any classes. I do love to send packages out. I love sending out thank you cards. Sometimes they're a little on the later side when I take off spontaneously. I don't have any plans to do that for at least another year at this point. So feel free to sign up for a to-go class and know that you will get videos, tutorials, and a package full of goodies in the mail if you're not local. If you are local, join me at BN Bond Nutrition on the third Sunday of every month from 2 to 4 and learn some new tips and tricks and techniques. And why is that a tongue twister today? I hope again that this was a little helpful to you. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Ooh, let me see. I'm just switching over to my comments. Sorry, guys. All right. Thank you, Melissa. I think I did get signed up. I'm not sure if there was a payment option, but I'm registered. All right, let's see. Oh, great tips. Oh, thank you. You tossed your chamois in the washing machine to clean them. Ooh, I have not done that. I've only done like the dip them in the sink with the dishes kind of stuff. And buy your re-inkers at the same time you get your ink pads so the dye is from the same dye lot. Oh, that's a very great tip, Melissa. Kind of like when you buy fabric, you want to buy the whole quantity because of the dye lots as well. So that's pretty cool. And yes, if you have old versions of our ink pads, our new inks are formulated a little bit differently. They do not re-ink the old pads. So I definitely can concur with Melissa to get each color at the same time if it's possible for your budget to do so. That is definitely the preferred way. All right. That is it for tonight. I do want to give you one more heads up because I think next Wednesday is the beginning of the sales on the new catalog. So I will be going live every Wednesday next week, and you will only see brand new products. So I will highlight a new product each week next month, all 5 weeks. And that's it. I will have a special for every day I go live. Look forward. It's going to be good. See you later.